Hey guys, it's me, the Daycare Dude, and I'm here to tell you about a childcare summit that's getting ready to shift the trajectory of your childcare business. I'm sure that after this entire pandemic, all you want to do at this point is see your business grow and go. Well, I need you to meet me at August 13th through the 14th in Fayetteville, North Carolina for the Childcare Professionals Playground Summit. It's a summit where we're going to network, where we're going to build, where we're going to learn, and we're going to be catapulted into the next place for the success of our business. I see success on you, but the question is, do you see it on yourself? For more information, sponsorship, partnership, or registration, visit thedaycaredude.com today. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the playground with the Daycare Dude. I am your host, and you can't see me. You can't see me, can you? I know you can't see me. There's a reason why you can't see me, because I got stuff on the screen. But here I am now. Here I am, guys. It's me, the Daycare Dude. So glad to be here on the playground with all of my friends. You all. Yeah, that's you. You're my friend. Thank you so much for being here on the playground with me today. I have a guest that's with me. Hold on. Let me make sure y'all can see both my eyes. Okay. I'm trying to be cool today, so I got my hat on, got my Nike hat on, trying to be cool, and I gotta hire somebody to do my lighting and stuff, because my lighting ain't you hear my English for us early educators? Ain't that okay? So I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm allowed to be country and say ain't. All right. So my lighting is not that great. However, comma, see, I put that comma there. However, comma, I need you to do me a favor before I continue on and try to get perfect lighting for you. I need you to share this. I need you to share it. If you're watching us on YouTube, share that YouTube link. If you're watching us on Facebook, I need you to share this. If you are in any other child care professional group, I need you to share this in that group, please, because I have someone who's with me today who I'm actually am grateful, if you will, to have began a friendship with this guy, and to see that he is a natural born gift to the early childhood education field. As a matter of fact, if I be honest with you, I don't even know if he cares for this to be said, but I believe he's a gift to the education field as a whole, all right? And not just because of his degrees and those letters behind his name. It's just because of who he is and what he has to offer. I believe people will listen to him, watch this, if they actually want to do something with their education, all right? If they actually want to do something with their business. And that's why I have him here today. And that's why he's going to be a guest at the Child Care Professionals Playground Summit right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, August 13th and 14th. And I've got to make sure that there are people who are watching us now, because you guys who are watching us now are going to be able to see who this guy is and what he has to offer. That'll be a moment. I'll bring him on. But before I do, I need you again to hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, I need you to go over to YouTube real quick and switch with your other device, okay? Go to YouTube really quickly and follow us at the Daycare Dude, okay? Go ahead and make that happen so that we can have some fun together. Are y'all ready to play? Are you ready to play? I hope you are. Because here on the playground, what we do is we begin on the seesaw by getting to know each other a little bit. We bounce up and down, getting to know each other. Then we run over to the swing set. We go back and forth in our conversation. Then after we've died down in conversation and brought that swing set to a halt, we run over to the picnic table and recap just a little bit of what we discussed. So what I want you to do is prepare to work with me on the playground. It's the Daycare Dude, y'all, and I'm ready to have a good time with my friend Ron Shauli, who is, y'all, his name. We're going to talk about that name in just a second, okay? We're going to talk about that name. Here we go. Y'all ready? Here he is, my friend Ron Shauli. How are you, my brother?
I'm awesome. How you doing? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Man, I'm so glad to have you here. Having you here is an honor and a privilege, all right? I want to make sure I say that. So thank you so much for being a guest here on the playground. Let me take this AirPod out, because people like to tell me that I'm unprofessional when I have the AirPod in. So I like to be as professional as possible. So if this is your first time watching the Playground podcast, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm here with none other than the master himself of yogarati, the master himself of education, the master himself of telling us what we need to be doing, because we ain't doing it. Not we aren't doing it. We ain't doing it, okay?
Nice.
And he didn't tell me to say any of that, guys. However, he can cash at me and I'll take
just words.
Say what? It gets worse?
It's just words. It's just words. It's all good.
So So y'all, I'm here with him, and I need you who are here to help us get those numbers up. And let's invite some other early childhood educators. I've already began by sharing in some of the groups that I'm a part of, so I want you to do the same. Make sure that you're sharing as well, okay? Ron, man, if you would start us off, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little bit of background about Ron Shauli.
So I started my early childhood adventure in 2001. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was in and out of school, going back and forth, pursuing a bachelor's in business. And I took this amazing, mind-blowing seminar called the Landmark Forum, January 2001. And what I saw in that seminar was I really enjoyed teaching kids martial arts, especially my younger cousin in Israel. So literally the day after that seminar was over, I dropped out of college and I went to my martial arts instructor that I was learning to be a better fighter. And I asked him, can you teach me how to teach kids martial arts? And from there was incredible. I didn't realize that he was a former elementary school teacher. She was the wife, a former preschool teacher. So I was literally getting an education from educators on how to teach karate. Did that for about 2 years. And then I started doing a side business when I was also personal training. A director of a preschool came up to me at a birthday party, said, can you do this at a preschool? Like, do you have full lesson plan and curriculum? I went to her and said, yeah, absolutely. Lied right to her face. I have lesson plans. And yeah, I just say yes and whatever. I'll figure it out. And then January 16th of 2006, I was in their preschool teaching kids karate. And I was just like, oh, kind of interesting. Didn't think it would really go anywhere until it actually turned out to be a really good program. And then I started branching out even more, started reaching out to other schools, started going into soccer, into yoga, really anything. And then it started going in. It was interesting because like when I came from the karate school, I would tell the kids to do something. They would say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Then I walked into the preschool. I would tell the kids to do something, and the child went up to me. I don't know if you ever heard this word, no. Have you ever heard a kid say no before? And then proceed to go and just start running around in circles. And I'm sitting there going, what the heck, excuse me, is just going on over here? And this kids, I'm just like, why aren't you doing what? And then all of a sudden, my educator kind of took a background, and the salesperson that I was for the last 5 years kicked in and goes, how do I get this kid to get sold on changing his behaviors? Because it benefits me, because all my sales training kicked in. If I tell him what to do, he's going to do the opposite. How do I, blah, blah. So I put together this behavior system that made sense to me based on like real estate sales techniques and Zig Ziglar and neurolinguistic programming. All of a sudden, like 2-3 years go by, and I have directors call me up saying, yeah, your snot-nosed 19-year-old instructor in her second year of college can control these kids better than my teachers with master degrees. What's going on? So I'm just like, oh, you want me to teach your teachers? They're like, yeah. So that was like my first workshop. And then from there.
So wait, so you got started by mistake?
Always. Always. I love mistakes. My parents told me I was one. I love mistakes. I'm just, so it was just like, I absolutely anything. I live in the world of yes and. If anybody's ever taken any improv, if an opportunity presents itself, you just say, yes, you can do it, and then figure it out. I mean, even I tell my friends when they go for jobs, this and that, I'm like, just tell them that you have this experience, do this, do that. What? You're not going to get the degree the job that you weren't going to get anyway. And then they end up working for the company, and the company's like, wow, you're really great. And you're like, yeah. And then it's the quality of the person that keeps that job and gets them. Same thing with education, same thing with anyone.
Wow. So before we get into, we're right now, everybody, if you're just tuning in, this is the playground, and we're on the seesaw now, just getting to know each other a little bit. I'm just about you right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I tell people all the time, I am a leader of leaders. I train leaders. I develop leaders. I birth leaders. That's just who I am. I'm the whole concept of the daycare dude himself is not even about making a name for myself for my own personal benefit. It's really because I see that there are people who need what I've been through in order to get through, right? And so people like you make me happy. People like you get me excited because you just simply, you said one thing that has triggered me. And that thing is that everything that you do is based out of a mistake.
Yeah.
A lot of people make mistakes and they quit.
Yeah.
Some people open up their childcare centers, they get into the classroom, they get licensed, they do everything they need to do, and then they have one thing happen that they did not expect to happen. Or they hear the word no, or they find difficulty along the way, and so they decide this is not for me. And I want to say to that person today, that's not the opportunity to quit. That's the opportunity to connect with somebody like Ron Shauli and find out what do you do when you start making mistakes. Can you help us with that?
Absolutely. So grab onto a steering wheel right now. Okay, grab onto everyone watching this. Grab onto a steering wheel. Now, let's say you're driving in a straight line. Hold on, would you drive off the road? Get your hands back on the steering wheel. Okay, so you're driving on with your steering wheel. Now, show me what you boom. But you're driving on the straight road, but you're going like this. Okay, so technically, mistake correction, mistake correction, mistake correction, mistake. Same thing. Grab onto your motorcycle. Grab onto your bicycle. Okay, now ride in a straight line. How do you do it? Mistake, correction, mistake, correction, mistake. Do we get mad at ourselves every single time we make one of those mistakes? No. Because you said the perfect word, expect. We expect ourselves to make these mistakes so we don't get mad. Then there's other areas of our life that we create expectations that things shouldn't happen. And when they do, then we get mad. See, the word of the day is expectation. When we as human beings create like I'm going to ask everybody in the audience, I'll ask you yourself. Have you ever created an expectation for another human?
Yes.
Never. Okay, now think about one person you create an expectation. And if you're having a little confusion, when you say the word should, like my childcare should be this way. The enrollment should be this way. My evaluation should be this way. The state representative that comes in should be this way. So that's the word should. So think about one person in your life that you create an expectation for. Never share the expectation with them. And when they don't fulfill the expectation that you never told them about, who are you programmed to get upset at? Right. So that's the thing. One of the many programs that I've discovered watching directors and teachers and kids is we have programs that run us. If you listen to people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, talks about 85, 90% of our day is the same thoughts, the same repetitive. So we create expectations in our mind on how things in reality should be. And when they're not like that, we are not taught that the expectation was created internally. So the only way to solve the problem is internally. So we look externally. So imagine if you give me one sentence that you've heard somebody tell you, like my childcare should, something about the childcare industry. Give me anything. This should go for it.
I hear a lot of providers say my program should be further along than what it is right now.
Perfect. So now give the emotion that a director says that my program should be now say that as a director. My program should be further along. Say it with whatever emotion you've gotten from them.
My program should be further along.
Okay, now say the same sentence, but take out should and put could in there.
My program could be further along than it is right now.
Do you feel the same upset or anger or in your body? That's it. So you just alleviated your body and your mind of an expectation that you created. And just catching yourself doing that with everything. My enrollment should be this way. Well, should be this amount. Well, who told you that? Based on what information? Oh, you mean this voice, this sabotager that judges me, evaluates me, tells me how much weight I'm supposed to lose, even though the people in my life love me and are attracted to me, to blah, 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 blah. This voice in our head is put in there for whatever reason, but it's there just to get in your way. The parents, the parents should pick their kids up on time. Guess what? They don't. The parent's not there. You're upset. How does that benefit you? Well, these kids should listen. Well, all the kids listen, But you've been taught to say to the kids, why aren't you listening? When you really should ask, why aren't you following my directions? Because you know that kid on the other side of the room in the corner while you're on your phone in that little area in the center where the camera doesn't see, that kid hears your whole conversation. So we have all this stuff that goes on in our mind, and we're not taught that every upset, every frustration that happens, it comes from within. So the place that we get to choose to go to eliminate the upset is within. But if you're not taught to even consider doing that, then everything, you're wondering why the whole world makes you upset, and none of it ever happens in reality. It's all up here.
Man, I'm loving hearing. Ron, so, and this makes you kind of want to jump right onto the swing set now, man, because you right, it's time to go back and forth, y'all. It's time to jump on the swing set, because here's the thing. You said this, man, it's so much that you said, but you talked about being in the class, right, that's how it really is, seriously. But you talked about being in the class. And by the way, guys, if you have not registered for the Child Care Professionals Playground Leadership Summit, you need to do that, because this information that Ron is sharing, he can't give it all to you now, because he's got to give it to you when you get to the summit. All right. And some of you guys, all you got to do is use that promo code that I provided for you down there in the bottom. Nice. And that's going to help. All right. You need to type that in so you can get a discount on what you're doing. But this guy is giving some really good stuff. And by the way, some of you guys say, well, I'm not in the classroom, I don't need that. Then send the people that are in your classroom so that your program can be better. Hold on. Let me do it the right way. Hold on. Special effects. Send the people in your classroom so that your program can be better. I don't have real special effects, Ron. I just say that so that when it does that, I can feel like I did something.
I felt it. I was drawn right into it. It was like James Cameron just pulled that camera right in. I got you. I'm with you.
So we're going back out now. But
you gotta let me know when you're doing that next time.
My bad. Yeah, okay. My bad. Y'all, this was a mistake to both of us getting on this camera at the same time, okay? It's a mistake. We're too much. Anyway.
I love mistakes. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Mistakes create magic. Anybody have that? Look that up. Let's go tag that. Mistakes create magic. MCM. Okay, we'll work it out. Collaboration. I love it.
So one of the things that you said that I really I like is you brought up the should and the could factor, right? And I don't want you to get too deep into it, because again, I want the people to be able to come and get all of this information when you come to us in Fayetteville, August 13th and 14th. But here's the thing. In my leadership development, one of the things that I'm always pushing leaders to do is to change their perspective. Change your perspective. Change the way that you think about yourself. Change the way you think about what you're doing. I know it looks bad, but the truth of the matter is there's so much opportunity for it to get better that if you focus on the way it looks now, you'll never get to where it can be. Or, watch this, Ron Shauli style, where it could be. And so you talk about the should and could, right? I'm glad that you said that. How imperative is it that we get rid of the weight of the should and take on the responsibility of the could?
It's only imperative if you want to be happy. We're human beings. And with me, everything's about choice. Okay. With me, human beings need to feel. We're emotional creatures, even though growing up, like, we've been taught the wrong way. Like, I mean, I know my background was, if you're growing up and if you're a guy, you're allowed to be mad, but if you're sad, you're a beep, 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 beep. And then my sister, on the opposite, 7 years younger than me, you're allowed to be sad, but if you're upset and you're mad, you're not allowed to yell. That's being hysterical, and that's blah, blah, blah. When I've learned in my way that it's okay to be any way that we are. If you're mad, it's okay. If you're sad, it's okay. If you're frustrated, it's okay. Because what's going to happen is there's going to be frustration. There's going to be upset. There's going to be a parent that comes in and says words because they're getting bullied by their boss, and the only way that they can unleash is by saying something at you or whatever it is. When people say you shouldn't be mad, you shouldn't be sad, don't get upset, don't do this. That's the old fear model coming in. It's not coming from love. One thing that I just tell people, listen, any way you feel is okay. And you can feel mad for 5 minutes and be like, I can't believe blah blah blah, this and that, blah blah. And then instead of keeping it inside, which is what we've been taught to do, you let it come out. Like I've been to a rage workshop where a wonderful lady, Chris, sat this far away from me, knee to knee, and allowed me to scream in her face while other people were around us, in her face, about all these different things that happened as a little kid. So my inner child would use the rage to go through. I felt relief, and all of a sudden that stuff didn't stay inside. What I ask people, just listen, your emotions are coming. Don't tell your kids not to cry. Tell them to feel their emotions, and understand too that when emotions come, you breathe through them. Everything with the yoga and the karate, it's all about breath. Yoga has breathing, martial arts has breathing. Everything is about breathing. That's why at your conference, I'm going to teach different ways to breathe for different situations, so that you know how to self-regulate yourself. Here's the key. If you want to be mad and angry and full of this and that, awesome. Do it. Get in your car, put a song on, scream it out for 5 minutes. Teach your kids then how to be able to go through that same process. How many people would love to probably on this podcast right now, just love to be able to just go grab a pillow and just scream into it or pound on it? All physical beings. So letting that out instead of holding things in is one of the best things that I can ask people to do for themselves. Only, like I started, if you want to feel better. If you're getting something out of feeling bad or feeling sad, be with it, go with it, and then when you're done, choose something else.
You know what, Ron? I'm loving that you're saying this, because again, these are different situations. People don't understand that in order to have a healthy business, you've got to maintain a healthy person. And that goes back to the happiness that you're talking about, right? A lot of people either quit their business or they lose their business because they've lost their happiness. They lost the joy they felt while they were in it. They forgot while they went to it. So one of the things that I push all the time is remember your why, recall your why, go back to your why, because your why will allow you to kind of refresh yourself. And that's one of the reasons, if I be honest with everybody that's watching right now, that's one of the reasons that I decided to do this Playground Summit, is because I realized the pandemic stripped a lot of people of their joy. And a lot of people, they spent so much time trying not to get COVID, so much time trying not to infect other people, spent so much time trying to remain open, spent so much time trying to figure out how they were going to use their money or stretch the money, or how they were going to make money, because so many parents or families could not come and pay their tuition. So either they closed, or they thought about closing, or they're in a place right now where they feel like closing. It became stressful rather than joyous, and so they decided they were going to quit or didn't know what direction to move in. Long story short, I wanted this to be a conference where childcare professionals could come together and be rejuvenated and educated in the same breath. Like, this is not going to be a regular conference. We're not sitting down at tables and just taking notes. No, we're getting ready.
No. Not a mic, Yeah.
Exactly. Especially not with you. Guys, let me tell you what happened. This is how I ran into Ron. I've been following Ron for a short time now. And while I've been listening to him, I've been like, this guy, his personality is just ridiculous. It's crazy. It's just, I started looking for people who would benefit conversation with early educators who needed somebody to pour into them that was going to rebuild them and refresh them. Why was this guy the first face that I saw? When I reached out to him, I didn't have to go through 12,000 different people to get. And then when I spoke to him, we stayed on the phone for like an hour and a half as if we were best friends by the time we got off the phone. It's that type of personality that you need in order to connect with, in order to make sure that your childcare business continues to grow. And by the way, he doesn't just book for huge conferences, okay? He'll come to your center, all right?
Absolutely. Those are the best. The best trainings when we got 20 people and we can actually talk about, and when people are just like, so I have a boy named Steve, and everyone was like, oh, Steve, and I'm like, oh boy, like, let's talk about Steve, because everybody knows, because he runs an up and down, probably the director's kid. Anyway,
right. That's genuinely, it's normally our children who are really the ones, right? Okay. So in this conference, I wanted to make sure that we served the whole director, the whole teacher, the whole owner. Now, our focus are for owners and directors and potential owners. However, I wanted to serve the whole person. Here's what I love about the conversation you just had, Ron. You talked about that happiness and that happy place and going to that place, right?
Mm.
Well, one of the sessions that we're doing is talking about how much we need a break. We need a break. We need to take time away from the mundane routine of life and enjoy something about life, right? In your conversation, because we've got to get into the meat of this thing on the swing set and talk about the classroom discipline. But right before we get into the detail of that, one of the reasons why teachers, directors, and owners are so frustrated with children in the classroom are because they don't take the time to breathe away from the classroom setting. How important is it? And I don't want you to get too therapeutic today because I know it's not right. But why? How important is it for us to take that breather and enjoy life?
Let's take 3 belly breaths right now, because the words that I say are irrelevant to the sensation that if the people and you and I do it, how we're going to feel, and then you'll be able to feel it for yourself. Make sense? All right, so 2 hands on your belly. I got a nice visual aid for us. If anybody can see. There you go. All right, you probably got those weird bump things on there. All right, so ready? And now just stick your belly out and breathe in as hard as you can. Breathe in and push your belly out. And now breathe out and pull your belly in. 2 more. Breathe in. Intentionally make your belly big. Breathe in, make your belly big. It's all good. Breathe out. Pull your belly in, make your belly small. Okay, and then 1 more time, and breathe in, make your belly big. And breathe out, make your belly small. Okay, so now anything, just check in with your body. How do you feel? If you even feel 1% just a little bit calmer, a little bit more zen, a little bit more like, okay, I'm not really upset, whatever, then just consider doing that again. It's breathing is one of the most important things that we don't take time for ourselves to do, and we don't understand the value of it in the next 10, 20 years as future science starts understanding more about breath work and meditation. We'll start understanding more about how to connect with our kids even on a deeper level just by sitting quietly and even being with them. Like I do being exercises where I'll sit with my kids crisscross applesauce, and all we do is we just sit and we just look at each other. And we breathe and we look at each other. And then, of course, we get the giggles, we get the laughter going on. But after that goes through, we're just with each other. We're being with each other. And a lot of people aren't even trained or even understand that concept, which is why just instead of having this voice in our head, you got to do this, you got to do that, they're going to say this, they're going to say that, like 60, 70, 80% of our subconscious, it just keeps on going and going. And like you said before, we're stuck, like wondering what's going to happen. Just breathing, being in the now, taking 10 seconds, just 10 seconds. Just I'm going to sit there, 10 seconds, breathe in, and just breathe out. And if you can't physically take yourself away by maybe going to another room, we tell people connect with their inner child. If I want to get away from something going on in my head, I got an email from something, it's not benefiting me, it's not helping me, I'll go onto my YouTube channel and I have a list of all these different videos that I absolutely love. Sometimes I'll put on like big dogs and babies, and you have like these Saint Bernards that are just like, and the babies are like, and whatever's going on in my head, after watching 30, 40 seconds of this video, it changes my brain chemistry, changes my body. I feel differently. And then I go, okay, so what was I so upset about before? Okay, now I'm not emotionally connected to it. I might think about it differently, if that makes sense. Ooh, where'd you go? All right, well, I'll keep going because I think.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to get the full effect because you started to.
Okay. I'm like, did I lose you? I'll take over.
I told you I don't have the special effects, so I got to try to make it happen. You know what I
I
mean?
appreciate that. Was awesome. You got me on that one.
So listen, okay, so Ron, we're here to talk about classroom discipline. We're here to give them a piece of the pie, right? And again, guys, if you have not done so yet, I want you to make sure that you log on to www. What is my website? The Daycare Dude. The Daycare Dude.com. God, please. The daycaredude.com. Go to the daycaredude.com and register for this conference. Okay, you've got to do that. What conference am I talking about? I'm talking about the child care. We're right in the, give me a second. Let's do it the right way. There it is. The Child Care Professional Playground Leadership Summit. It's here for you guys, directors, assistant directors, owners. You've got to make it happen. Listen, virtual tickets just went on sale today. I'm giving you 35% off. All right. I'm giving you 35% off today if you want to attend virtually. Now, if you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I've got a bigger deal for you. So what I need you to do is DM me or inbox me, somehow get in touch with me, because I got a bigger deal for you that I can't tell everybody because they're not in Fayetteville. So I need you guys to get here. All right. Yeah, it's one of those type things. All right. But let's talk, Ron. Ron, I want to go into this thing because I know that you love investing in, excuse me, man. I know that you love investing in childcare owners. You love to invest in early educators altogether. Now, really quickly, that M.ED stands for something behind your name. What's that stand for exactly?
It stands for Master of Education.
Master of Education. Here's the thing. You've got a master's degree in education, which means you can teach on a collegiate level. You can teach.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, which means you can teach elementary school if you wanted to, middle school, high school. Let me ask you a question, because you're talking to an early educator now. My children haven't even gotten to elementary school. The people who are watching right now, early educators. My question to you is, as an individual who's qualified to teach on the high school level, on the the collegiate level, how imperative is the early childhood education, to you? How important do you think that is to a child's development?
The most important. Zero to five. The 0 to 5. That's why I have a master's in education with a specialization in early childhood. I mean, I started in preschools in 2006. I mean, I do assembly programs in elementary schools, but I'm in early childhood because it's the most important age. They process faster. They grow quicker. The brain grows like 3 times the size. The language capacity, the development, everything. It's so much more important. I actually. It's interesting that you asked about that. One of my goals that I kind of want to have by 2030 is actually shift the entire way that this country looks at early childhood. Because the fact that a teacher can go in, have a child do this or that or whatever the situation happens, and she can quit because her friend gets more money out of Walmart being a greeter is disgusting. And it's the most important time for kids. And on the other end of it, you're talking about high school. I mean, I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, if you know who he is. And he talks a lot about how like 11th and 12th grade now really is obsolete. I mean, most kids, if they, I don't like, I'm not really too concerned, and this pushes buttons. I think that 11th and 12th grade should be optional. Everything that you can learn is from Google. They don't have the classes in there like taking care of your budget and changing oil and raising kids and parenting, all the different things that they need. And I think a lot of that money should then focus away from high school and go right back into making it mandatory for early childhood educators to get the same. I mean, vacation pay, a salary. Like, it's ridiculous. It's the most important. And the fact that there are some people that say, oh, you're a babysitter, you're this and that. No, we are raising the kids in the most important. And if these kids, especially alphas that I talk about in my behavior program, if these alphas are put into the American industrialized education system and taught to suppress their gifts, just to take all these tests to get into college, to get into the American debt system, it's insane. We need to take these alpha kids that are quicker, sharper, smarter, and put them in front of better education called YouTube, so they can focus on their gifts. When I meet parents that say, I have a 7-year-old, when a car drives by the sound of the engine, he can tell what kind of car it is. Get that kid out of regular education as soon as possible and put him into Tesla school, put him into Elon Musk school or something like that, where
So
he can really, sorry, I just get all riled up because neurodiversity and neurodiverse kids and taking them into the direction where they need to go is something that's not even addressed.
Wow. Hey, I want you guys who are watching us to feel free to comment. Thank you guys for sharing. I see that you guys are sharing this. That's awesome. Please continue to share if you have not done it yet. Hey, maybe you're in a Facebook group that has early childhood educators in it, or you have those that follow you. Would you mind sharing, please? I'm here sitting with my friend Ron Shauli and master educator, Yoga Radi, and everything in between. And I want you guys to continue with us. We're getting ready to dive deeper into this conversation. We touched it. We pulled back a moment. Now we're getting ready to put our hands fully on it. As he stated earlier, that steering wheel, okay? We're going to get back on it because I think it's important that we know how to deal with children in the classroom, how to respond to the things that trigger us, basically. And the question is it them that are difficult? Or is it us? Are we the difficult ones, or is it the children? And so that's the question that's going to have to be asked. And really quickly, Ron's going to be sharing with us during the summit, and he's going to deal with us on the conversation, the topic, or the session entitled "It's Not You, It's Me." And that session is going to talk about how we respond and how we deal with children in the classroom. So let's deal with it real quick. Ron, is it the child that's difficult, or is it the adult? Is it the child that's difficult, or is it that teacher, that director?
Okay, so there's two perspectives that we're going to look at.
Okay.
One is the typical adult who has been trained and programmed not to be responsible for their actions or emotions and put the blame of their happiness on other people, which is majority of people how we've been trained. And there's other adults that go, I am 100% responsible for my emotions because I create them in my mind. So I cannot be triggered. I don't have buttons that can be pushed. I understand the child says something or does something, and my response is going to dictate what direction the child goes. And it's up to me. An easier example is this. You have a child that comes in and is 3.5 years old and goes to a teacher and goes, I don't love you. And the teacher goes, oh my God, how can you say that? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Inner childhood trauma, all this stuff comes up, blah, blah. And then so that becomes win-lose, where the child does something, the child wins, the teacher loses because she gets upset, but then the child can go up to another teacher at a different, like outside in the playground, go up to another teacher, go, I don't love you. And the other teacher goes, well, I love you. What do you want to work on today? Show me what you're doing. And the kid goes, oh, I guess that didn't work. I better tell my older brother. And it's a different response because the teacher chose to be responsible for her response. That's the key. It's because here's the deal. And this is one of the most insane things that when I drop this bomb, people like don't process it, but your subconscious is going to hear it and it's going to work itself out. It might take 5 or 10 or 20 years. Have you ever seen a school that has like a Tammy Tattletale?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tammy Tattletale goes up to the teacher and goes, Billy called me a poopy head. And then the teacher goes, Tammy, tell Billy how, Tammy, tell Billy how he made you feel. And then Tammy's like, you made me blah. And then we program the kids, say, I'm sorry. And then it all garbage, doesn't mean anything, but it's just automatic stuff. 20 minutes later, Tammy wants somebody else's opinion. Tammy wants attention. So then she goes up to teacher and goes, teacher, Jennifer said I'm not invited to my own birthday party. And the teacher's like, okay, I'll handle this. And she goes, Tammy, tell Jennifer how she made you feel when she said blah, blah, blah. And then Jennifer goes, okay, Tammy, I'm sorry. All the automatic blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that as I'm watching this happen in schools, I'm realizing this makes sense. This teacher is programming Tammy to believe that Billy can make her feel a certain way. Then 20 minutes later, the teacher programs Tammy to believe that Jennifer can make her upset. And what happens is when this happens around a whole entire society, and we're taught the same thing from other people, you're taught to believe that other people can make you upset. So you're literally taught to believe, I'm looking for my buttons that I use. I don't have it with, I'll have it at the conference. You're taught to believe that kids push your buttons, but there's no such thing as buttons. Your belly button doesn't count. A child says something, you respond. And when your face goes, or whatever, then that child goes, ooh, I'm going to do that again. So you literally, you create a button going, this is my button. Don't push it. Don't push it. Don't you dare push it. This is my button. And then when the kid pushes it, how dare you? Because you shouldn't have pushed it. And
so, so are you, I'm sorry, I know you're in the heat of it, but are you essentially saying that we show the child that they have an option to change our behavior?
We give them more power. Yeah, see, you asked the question about power and what to do versus the other one. If you choose to hand your power over to a 3-year-old, then the child's gonna win. That's it. Right. See, I watched I joke around, I watched this documentary about a boy who was bitten by a radioactive spider, and he got to shoot. Okay, it was Spider-Man. All right, so, but in the movie, I would like to suck people on that. But in the movie, it's always that same line every time they remake it. With great power comes great responsibility. So what people don't realize is that when they put responsibility somewhere else, when a teacher goes, well, if mom and dad would only, oh, there's responsibility, putting it on them. They don't realize they give their power away. Now they don't have any say in it. Oh, if that child would only do this, if this teacher would only do that, and then all of a sudden all the power leaves our body because we give away all this responsibility and we don't even realize we're doing it. If I say a word to you and that word has you get upset, I didn't say words that upset you. You heard, this is how the brain works. You heard the words in your ear. Your brain gave the words meaning. You processed them, and then you respond and react in a microsecond. And all that happens so quickly because this is the most powerful computer on the history of the planet. But we don't realize all of a sudden we have this emotion in our body. We're not taught, oh, why did I just get myself upset? What expectation did I just create? I created this expectation that in circle time, all the kids are going to sit obediently and quietly, even though they never do. And then I get mad at them for the expectation of my mind. I'm alleviating myself of the expectation. I'm going to let them be the way that they want to be. And now joy is back.
I love You know, because I had a teacher once. She's no longer employed with us.
Because, with us.
There you go. Because no, she's not. No, she's still with us. She's just not with my company. So, but it's and one of the reasons is because she found herself to be so frustrated with the children because, as you just stated, she kept creating an expectation of her own that she did not teach the children. So here's what I try to get my teachers to understand. Children have to learn like we learned.
Yes.
And when we were 2 and 3, we were doing what they are doing.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely more.
Our parents or our educators, whomever had us at that moment, to discipline us into a position to learn how to do it. Now, discipline does not mean a beating. Discipline does not mean a whooping. So discipline is simply a consistent reminder, however you choose to give that reminder, but a consistent reminder of what is the right direction to move in. That's the Trayvon McNeil daycare dude definition. Okay, you can look that up.
Love it. It's all coming from love.
Thanks. There it is. There it is.
That's it. Yeah.
That's why he's my friend, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. That's why. See how he had my back right there?
Okay, go on.
So at the end of the day, I try to explain to teachers that when you sit down in that circle, when you have that moment with those little ones, you've got to remember their attention span is not like yours and mine. So we should be engaging on a level that's going to keep them. By the way, some 20-year-olds don't have the attention span that you expect. Now 30-year-olds, 40, 50, we don't have it, right?
Squirrel.
Listen, if this conversation wasn't that great, I'm sure I'd be somewhere on YouTube watching something while you're talking, right?
Nice,
And
nice.
my podcast where I had to pay attention. But you're engaging enough for me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
The conversation is taking us somewhere. And we're not going to talk about adults today. Let's talk about these children. So what we've got to learn to do is we've got to learn to stop placing expectations that we have not expressed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I want to talk about this, Ron. I saw a video that you did not too long ago, and Ron has a phenomenal. If you have not done so yet, I want you guys to go follow Ron on Instagram. If you haven't done so yet, Ron has these reels that he posts every so often, and in these reels that I've started to watch, he talks about, and I believe you do it on YouTube as well.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm slowly getting on TikTok.
Yeah, so he has all these different avenues that he's reaching out to us as early child educators, and I wanted to make sure we grab hold of that, okay? But here's what I'm saying to you. Ron posted a video here recently, and in that video, you talked about how someone basically has an expectation for somebody to respond a particular way.
Mm-hmm.
However, they didn't let that person know about their expectation. So when the person didn't do right, they chose to get upset. Can you talk about what that means to you? How does that work? What does that mean? I know we touched it a few times, but let's deal with something like that in particular.
Sure. It's a programming of the mind. I mean, I have a keynote that's called Up the Rabbit Hole, Escaping the Matrix of Your Mind. And it's really understanding that these are just patterns. I mean, if you have a friend that is consistently late and you in your mind keep creating an expectation that they're going to be on time, and they show up late every time, you're starting off mad at them. And when you're upset, you change your body chemistry. There's a guy by the name of, he passed away, Dr. Emoto, E-M-O-T-O, and he did a study when he took water and he froze it. And he put the frozen water on pictures of the words love, the pictures of earth, flowers. And then when he took a picture of the frozen water, the ice, it was like starfish, snowflakes, everything was beautiful, just artwork, just a perfect symmetrical, the whole thing. And then he took the same water and then he put it over the words war, hate, different things like that. He played heavy metal music to it. And then he took pictures and the water was like sludge. It was goop. So in his study, if he shows that when we have one or two negative thoughts, it changes our body. The second that you get upset, when you create an expectation, it's kind of like, have you ever heard the phrase, getting mad at somebody else is like you drinking poison, waiting for them to die?
Yeah.
And that's it. We don't get that. If a teacher wants to get upset, then that's fine. But if she wants to have a commitment, I guess the first thing what I tell people to do is just realize the cost of what you do. We don't realize that. Like people, if I say eliminate your expectation, change should to could, the hard part is their mind kicks in, goes, I'm wrong, and you're right of what you're doing. And then what happens is when we think we're right, which is one of the most insane patterns of the design of human, when you think you're right about something, you release dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and serotonin. 4 drugs, 4 chemicals from your brain immediately enter your system when you feel like you're right. And we feel like we're right all the time when we go, well, that should, like, especially with the whole pandemic, whether you wore a mask, whether you didn't.
Right.
If you saw somebody across the street doing something that you don't, whether you're a person that wore a mask and then you see someone like a block away not wearing one, but they're never going to be close enough to infect you, or if you're someone that doesn't wear a mask and you see somebody driving in their car alone wearing a mask, your mind goes, he shouldn't be that way.
Right.
Your body goes, I'm right. The drugs fill our system and you drive away. But it all happened up here. But you don't realize that when you do that, you disconnect from the human being. When we say things to kids that I hear, like a child goes, I want this, I want that. They're trying to express a need. They're trying to express something. And the teacher's automatic robotic programming is you get what you get and you don't get upset. Literally, it's like, you get what you, and they go right. And the kid's left with nothing. The teacher gets this chemical release because she's right, but the child shut down. So it's win for the teacher, lose for the child. My world is trying to promote win-win. How do we have conversations with another? How do we engage with another human where it's not win-lose? One way to do it is when you look at that person, don't go, he should be this way. Go, he's the way that he is. Especially if it's a kid that comes in and they're high energy and they're blah, 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 and then your mind goes, oh, that kid has ADHD because, and all these, and you're throwing all the responsibility onto this, because the letters onto the kid instead of going, wow, that kid's going to be awesome and helping me run my classroom. I'm super excited. It's all up here, and it depends on our approach. It really does. And a lot of times it takes understanding why we operate a certain way. Like I always joke around saying, I know in every relationship, I'm always wrong, I'm never right, and that's why I'm happy.
Let me ask you this question. I want to show a video. I want to show a video that you've done, okay?
Yeah.
Before I show that video, I want to ask you this. Why is it that you're talking about properly responding, and you hit on something that I am big on in my centers? I am big on not making a child feel small because you want it to remain big. You want it to be the grown up, and because you want it to look like the grown up and feel like you had power,
Right.
you made a child feel small. Why, in your opinion, is a proper response in the classroom toward a child? Why is that so imperative?
Because their brains are supercomputers and they remember every response that you do. They program it. They remember your facial structure. They remember the way your muscles were. They remember the sounds. They feel the energy coming from you. One time where you shut down a child or you respond in a way can make the difference in the computer programming of whether they're going to pursue this action or they're going to pursue that. If a child comes up to you and shows you a Lego, and the Lego is like two pieces together, and you, in your mind, you're like, oh, I do bigger Legos because, like you said, because whatever, or your 12-year-old at home builds Legos, and you're done with Legos, and you displace that, or the kid comes up to you and goes, look at these two, you go, oh my God, and like 30 years ago, somebody went, oh my goodness, Elon, that's so good. What else can you make? And the kid goes, oh, I'll show you. It's like, all right, Mr. Musk, have a nice day at school. And then 35, 40 years go by and we got these guys.
Right.
I also see that. Like when I first started teaching in preschools 15 years ago, and I would meet kids that I knew were going to run this planet, I would go into my Google Calendar and type their name in 20, 30 years ahead because I can't wait to look and find out who they are.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's so cool to just think that some of these kids, especially like when I'm still friends with some of them, and I've taught this one girl, Eliana, who I started teaching her karate at 3 years old. Now the girl's like 15 years old, like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and a total bad beat. So it's like, I can't imagine what her life is going to go in a direction, having the confidence of martial arts as opposed to not having that.
Ron, what if we realized that we would be the name that the next president of the United States, the next inventor of the greatest this or that, the next award-winning actor or actress called out when they were on stage or when they were being sworn in? What if we were the name they called out because we took time with them? Because we tried to understand them. Say that again.
Yeah, I better be. I mean, I've had conversation with parents going, listen, have this kid do piano, have this kid do drumming. Yeah, I know it's going to be loud, But when he's in concert in 20 years or whatever, like DJs, like have like 100%. It's like, how many houses do you want your kids to buy, or do you want them living in your basement because they can't function regularly in society, but you want them to go the traditional route? So it's just so important. It's so important to connect and to inspire and to be that. I would totally love to be. I would like to thank blah 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 because he helped me with space-time travel, and I'd be like, awesome.
Yeah.
I want 1% of profits.
I think if more of us realize that we could, that word could again, if we could be that name, that person,
absolutely,
we would do a better job at how we relate and respond to these children. One of the things that helps me is I remember being a child and I wasn't treated that greatly as a child. And I wasn't treated that greatly because I was misunderstood a lot, because I was so enthusiastic. I was so ambitious. I wanted to do so much because in my brain, honestly, guys, there was so much that was going on in here. And even today, you can't handle me because there's so much that goes on in this little yellow head here. There's so much that goes on. And I think about that. I think about how they talked about me. I think about how people who were close to me didn't allow me to do certain things because they thought I wasn't fit to do it. And they didn't think I was fit because they said he does too much, or that's ADHD over there. So because he has ADHD, which I was never actually diagnosed with, but anyway, they diagnosed me. But even though he has ADHD, we're not going to let him do this because he'll overdo it. But overdoing it has made me the money that I make. Overdoing it has put me in a position where I can help them to they borrow money from me. Overdoing it has put me in a position to where I'm now educating more than 100 children at a time. You know, overdoing it has put me in a position to where I'm placed on boards and on committees that are helping thousands of children in our city and county. You understand what I'm saying? And there are just a few people. I can't even put up this many fingers of how many people helped me or reminded me when I was 4 and 5 years old that I was going to be somebody. You know, I can call their names out. I won't today, but you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to be that guy for somebody.
It's the key to that is following your dreams so that you're okay with helping somebody else follow theirs. If you were a person that your parents told you couldn't do this, couldn't do that, if you're a person that was judged, if you're a person that did not follow your singing dreams, your dancing dreams, your comedy dreams, your goofy dreams, this and that, whatever, you're not going to internally, your inner child is not going to want to support somebody else in their dreams, which is why I talk about at my trainings is that this is the time and the place for you to go on Instagram and YouTube. Literally, it used to cost, for people that don't know, it used to cost money to advertise. Now it doesn't. You put yourself on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Clubhouse and all these other different things, and whatever your passion is. If you love jumping in puddles, make videos about you jumping in puddles, put it up there. You'll be blown away at the amount of people that start following you, that start doing this. And then all of a sudden, when you have 10,000 views on one of your videos, which you will get as long as you keep on pushing it and you're authentic, then all of a sudden YouTube starts sending you money and you start monetizing it. Now you're a person that 3 years has gone by. You love what you do. You talk about DJ. You talk about your cosplay. You talk about this. And then a little kid comes up to you and goes, I want to be a blah, blah. You look at that kid and go, I'm following my dream. Let me help you follow yours. Instead of, like, for me, I mean, I love dinosaurs and nobody asked me, nobody cared. There's so many different things. I love video games. And mom told me, don't play video games. I'm like, great. And now I explained to her what Twitch is. And I explained to her about the people in the corner that don't even play, but they watch other people and they have 50,000 people and they get checks for 10 grand a month. My mother's like she can't even process. It's like be with the kid instead of in your own mind. That's like I'm going to leave it with that.
Because it's about anyway. That's
right.
our
It could
time
be.
is drawing near, not our time is drawing in, guys. So I've got to show you guys this video of this dude. This is just one of his reels, one of the things that he does. This is not one of his professional shots, guys. So I'm not here to let you judge my friend today. Y'all understand? We're all friends on the playground. All right.
They're going to judge me anyway. They don't have a choice. They're going to judge me anyway. It's how their minds work. I love it.
Human mind, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You did it. You're right. So here's the thing. Choose to judge well. There we go. Let's do that. Now,
I like it.
I'm going to show you this video. This, again, is not a professional shot. This is not him with his camera crew following him around. This is just him. I don't know what morning it was. It was on a morning or a day. And he's walking around, and he just wants to share with us. This is his heart. And it shows you how much of his heart is exposed to us in education simply because he has those facial expressions because he doesn't know what video I'm getting ready to play, by the way. He didn't even know I was doing it. So I'm just going to be around. But I'm ready for this because I want you guys to see. And also, it's because I want you guys to follow him, too. So make sure that you do that. So here is a video of Ron. And I want you guys to see this. Here it is.
Oh,
check this out.
Nice.
Listen to this.
My hair.
How many times has something happened in the morning where you stub your toe, you get a text you don't like, you spill something, and then you said to yourself, oh, there goes my day. And then you get to your work or your school, and you spend the rest of the morning trying to find evidence on how bad your day is, and doing even this one. Ever have this one drive by happen to you when somebody walks by you and you're having a good day and they go, and they're trying to get you to ask, and you don't budge, and they go, and you're like, oh, what's wrong? Oh my God. And then they get to suck you into their miserable day. You know why? Because people haven't been taught there's no such thing as a bad day. There's a bad moment that happens, and then you get to pick how long you stretch it out. If you had $86,400 in your bank account, someone stole 10, would you spend money and time getting rid of it? No, 86,400 seconds in a day. Why have 10 of them ruin the...
Wow.
That was awesome.
Ron, let me get back to us. I'm just, that is, that's something that I'm always telling people this stuff.
Yeah.
Why would you let a moment of frustration ruin? God gave you 24 hours to do whatever you want to do with.
Yeah.
You're going to take the last 10 minutes of an argument, 5 minutes of a child's behavior, 20 minutes of your director or your owner's remarks or another teacher's remarks, and it's going to ruin the remainder of your shift, the remainder of the day. Do you know how much? Go ahead, Ron.
That's the programming, because it's you stub your toe in the morning, you get a bad text, you get into traffic, you spill something on yourself. It's literally that should programming that sets everything off. You create expectations that your morning is going to go perfectly based on no reality, and it rarely ever does. And then when you spill something or something happens that you don't expect, you go, oh, it's going to be one of those days. And then the universe goes, oh, I'm sorry, what would you like? Oh, here you go. Let me throw some construction. Let me put a school bus right in front of you. And then you go around and you're just like, and literally it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you had a bad moment, like, let it go. But the thing is, if you don't realize that it doesn't benefit you because you're getting all the dopamine and all that, now you get to suck people into your bad day. Like, I've seen teachers just walk in, and the teacher's like this and that, and the other two co-teachers, they look at each other as I'm setting up the class. They're like, oh boy. And then I go up to the teacher and I see her, and I go up to her. I'm like, Mushroom walks into a bar. Bartender says I can't serve you. Mushroom goes, why? I'm a fun guy. And she's like, I'm like, you know what? He's going to get out of here. There's not Mushroom anyway. She's like, okay, that was cute. And then I just bombard her with jokes, and I hit her, and then she's like, okay, that's pretty funny, whatever. And then all of a sudden she goes on. She forgets what she was talking about and what upset her. And the teachers, when I walk out, they go, you just got to pattern truck. You got to get them out of that negative pattern, and sometimes just changing the pattern. I mean, so just like with the kid too, butterfly, woo, and then that's it. It's done.
Very true. Very true. Right. I'm loving these conversations, man, guys. Our time is drawn nigh here, and we're going to come off of the swing set, run over to the picnic table really quickly. Ron, you've shown us through this conversation how important it is for those who are watching us and even those who are listening now on the podcast. You've shown us how imperative it is to really just take a break, take some time, and invest into you so that you know how to respond properly to others. That's the most important piece. Know how to respond to others. While we're here at the picnic table, this is the time we take to do some recapping. I don't want to do the recap today, Ron. I want you to do it because you're going to be a guest on our stage at the summit, right? At the Child Care Professional Summit.
Yep, I'll be there.
When you get there, I know there's going to be so much you're going to pour into these individuals, but I want to know from you in these last few moments, what's something that you're going to leave with that frustrated teacher or director, owner, who does not know how to respond properly to a child who is, watch this in the microphone that you guys can't see, the worst. Just that. What is the proper response to that child?
So in my 5-part behavior mastery program, part 3, 4, and 5 are for the alpha kids, how to get them to change their behaviors differently than the regular 96% of kids that you just tell them what to do or give them the cues. So I teach something called the power look. So when a child displays a behavior and then looks at you, they're watching your muscles in your face. You have micro expressions and they contort and they do this and that, whatever. So there's I used to watch a show called Lie to Me, and it talked about the study of this guy, Paul Ekman. He would train FBI profilers in understanding microexpressions, which these kids develop them from the time that they're sitting on the infant toddler table watching. So the power look, instead of, why do you do this? Why do you do that? And it just reinforces behavior. When a child does something you don't want them to do, what you do is when you do the power look, you look at the top of their forehead, not their eyes, the top of their forehead, and then you sing row, row, row your boat in your ear, in your mind. And it looks like this. So I'm going to acknowledge 2 kids first. I love the way that you're sitting crisscross applesauce. High five. I love the way that you're following my directions. Good job. And then I see a child over here displaying a behavior that I don't want him to. And I just go, you're doing such a great job following my directions. I love the way that you're standing and helping. Great job. Do I want you playing with your center right now, or do I want you cleaning up? I love the way. So now what I'm doing is I'm looking over the top of the camera. So when you look at the top of the forehead, your face goes blank. And then when you sing row, row, row your boat, in your mind, your own inner dialogue sabotager doesn't kick in. This isn't going to work. This isn't blah, 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 this and that. I've given a kid a power look for 17 seconds. It was the longest. It was amazing. And this kid literally would not go stand on his spot and would have his feet. If the spot was here, his feet would be right there. And then all I did was, I love the way you're on your spot. I love the way. And the kid would just stand there and be right there. And he's sitting up there looking at me. And all I did was, you're doing such a... And then I just went. And this kid for 17 seconds stared at me and eventually went, and just went and stood in the spot. The second he stood in the spot, I love the way you're on. The kid's like, oh, and then I got him. But any other teacher, that didn't have that understanding would have just lost their mind. Why aren't you doing that? Because these teachers still believe that because you tell someone to do something, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's insane because we don't want to be told what to do.
Right. Wow. Somebody said that. Someone on Facebook said that's the mama look. And they give you the mama look. Do the look again for us, Ron. Do the look again. How are we supposed to look at it?
So the power look goes like this. You look at the top of the forehead. So it's basically, I love the way you're following my directions. Oh, you're doing such a great. Good job, father. But that's it. And then the child gets to choose, what do I want? Do I want that look or do I want this look? And then it's everything about me is the same thing with adults and kids. Responsibility and power. You get to choose what consequence you get from me based on your behavior. If you do what I want you to do, then you'll get X, Y, and Z. If you do this behavior, then this is the consequence. Great job. You do whatever you want. It doesn't affect me. You get whatever consequence you pick. Choose.
Yeah. Wow.
Done.
Man, listen, guys, we've been here for now. We've met our hour, and we have been really engaging in conversation. This has been good. I wish I could continue, but
come to the conference. Just come to the conference. I'll talk to you.
You got to come to the conference. As our friend Jamarion out of Atlanta says all the time, you got to pay for some of this information. Okay, everything be free. All right. And so come on down. If you need some help, watch this. We've got a program in place because we've got some amazing sponsors. None other than Georgia's best 24 hours childcare centers, the Daycare Dude, Genesis Learning Academy, and none other than the NCAAC. So they're all sponsors, and because of those individuals, we have been able to help provide scholarships for those of you who want to attend but cannot afford to attend. Now, you may be able to attend your travel and your stay, but you can't attend the cost of the conference on top of all of that. We've got something for you. You need to DM me today. You need to inbox me today because we've got a scholarship in place for you, all right? Now, those of you who don't know what this is, I want you to watch this video. And Ron, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation again, man. We've enjoyed you. Thank you so much for joining us on the what's it called? My pleasure. We've been on the y'all. Why do I have a brain fart today?
Roller coaster.
Okay.
There you go.
Seesaw.
Seesaw. There you go. A lot of there.
So, thank you so much for joining us on the Seesaw. Then run over to the swing set with us here on the playground, and then end up on the picnic table. We appreciate you for joining us right here on the playground. Those of you who have not done so yet, I need you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Daycare Dude, and the podcast is showing there. In the future, we'll be traveling to childcare centers around, and we'll be interviewing and doing these podcasts live. So I need you to already be subscribed to YouTube so that you can prepare for that. Not just that, but if you do that, you may just get a sneak peek into the Childcare Professionals Summit set up and all of that, break down all of those great things that'll be happening behind the scenes on the YouTube channel. And then also, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our podcast by way of your mobile device. It's on any of your mobile devices, okay? I prefer you listen to it on Apple Podcasts just because it's an iPhone, and you guys should have iPhones around here, okay? That's the only thing. Just want to say that, okay? Now, that's just my personal take, all right? But if you haven't done so yet, I need you to make sure that you have subscribed on every platform that's possible. Now, watch this, guys, if you have not heard of this, and we'll appreciate you. Ron, love you, man. Appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
Appreciate you for having me. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I want you guys to watch this really quickly and check this out. Ron Shauli, y'all. Ron Shauli is a great guy. You guys just watch this. We're not talking about it. Just watch this.
Hey guys, it's me, the Daycare Dude, and I'm here to tell you about a childcare summit that's getting ready to shift the trajectory of your childcare business. I'm sure that after this entire pandemic, all you want to do at this point is see your business grow and go. Well, I need you to meet me on August 13th through the 14th in Fayetteville, North Carolina for the Childcare Professionals Playground Summit. It's a summit where we're going to network, where we're going to build, where we're going to learn, and we're going to be catapulted into the next place for the success of our business. I see success on you, but the question is, do you see it on yourself?
All right.
For more information, sponsorship, partnership, or registration, visit thedaycaredude.com today.
Nice.
All right, everybody. So thank you again so much for joining us on the playground. This is my friend Ron right here. Oh, I did that right. I was trying to figure out if it was over here. Cool. Ron right here. So we appreciate you right. So you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you August 13th through the 14th at the Childcare Professionals Playground Summit right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Don't you miss out on it, guys. It's something you don't want to miss. Have a great day.
Nice. See you there.
And